How did Sunrise start? I guess that's a good way to begin. Very many years ago, when we came to Canada, my husband was diagnosed with cancer 18 months after we got here, and 18 months later he was gone. We had no family in Canada, but great community support. And we happened to have 2 borrowed ponies at the time that my children were using, and I noticed how these animals connected with the children and they with them when this tragedy happened. I thought about this a lot and how we could give back to our community in our new country. That was how Sunrise started. So it started in a very low key with 2 ponies, and we had about 6 different locations before we came to the farm where we are now in Puslinch. And so every spring we had to start up again with new volunteers very often. Some came back, but you're training volunteers, and it's hard on the children if they don't have continuity, especially the children. Then our board of directors at the time decided we'd have a capital campaign, and we really had to have our own premises. And so what it is, it's therapy on horseback, and so much more fun than having to do it in a clinical setting. Well, I guess one of the big obstacles is when you work with horses, people think you've got money. And horses can keep you poor. They're not necessarily expensive horses, but they have to have the right disposition. There are different things we look for in the horses, and the height and various things. We don't get any ongoing government funding, so we work very hard at fundraising ourselves. Guelph is a wonderful city to have a charitable organization. Very giving people, and volunteerism is really great in Guelph, where you just have to look at the children's faces. When we first went to the farm, our office was in the basement of the old stone house. No windows, and pretty damp in that basement. And sometimes I would think, when I was writing funding proposals, why am I doing this, And you'd come up for air, like a little mole, and the sun was shining, and you think, this is great, and you'd go over to the barn, and then you'd see the children and the young people that were benefiting, and then that gave you the incentive to go on, and you realize why you were sitting writing funding proposals. And to see their development, where they have an assistant, like a personal support worker, when they're younger maybe, and then they transition to the fact that they can manage just with maybe a little bit of support and not somebody one-on-one, because they're in a place where they feel comfortable. And the parents feel safe because they know that we've got really qualified people looking after them. Many who have come through the program, we've got one young woman who's in her 40s, almost 50s now, possibly, I've forgotten her age, but she started when she was a teenager, and she has Down syndrome, and she's still with us. She's probably one of our longest riders. We've seen say the first word on the back of a horse, that kind of thing, and then you have everybody standing around in tears because he's a child that was nonverbal, and because they wanted their horse to move forward, they've said walk on, and the horse has moved, and they've got a grin on their face. So yeah, it's really quite amazing. Young women, well, I would say, don't wait to volunteer and get connected with any charity that you might feel drawn to. I've heard so many people say, when I retire, I'm going to, whatever it might be. And if you wait till then, you're never going to do it. If you're going to do something, do it when you're young, when you've got lots of energy, and when you're really busy, because busy people are the ones that get involved and can have a real impact on their community.